What is going on, collectors? I've always wanted to make this video about why I spend time, money, and effort in collecting this high-end 1/6 scale figures. Primarily Hot Toys. That is the majority of my collection. But now that the price is rising, it's getting harder to pick them up. A lot of people look at us collectors and say, why do you spend so much? And they just don't understand the joy that it brings to us collectors. So we'll start off with my top 3 reasons, that there are more, why I collect Hot Toys figures. And first is nostalgia. I think we all experience this. That is why we collect mostly because the movies influenced us. These movies, maybe growing up or currently, have a big influence on us. Like for myself, I'm an 80s guy, so obviously Rambo and RoboCop is 2 of my childhood heroes, and I want to relive that memory. I got some good fun memories of those, and it's always nostalgic back. Most of us who collects Hot Toys, I'm assuming, played with action figures when we were younger. And maybe not all movies are action figures back then, like The Godfather. I've never had one. I saw The Godfather when I was an adult. I always found it boring when I was younger, but I appreciated more now as an adult watching it. And then one of my favorite movies of all time. And not only that, current movies like John Wick in the back, Pirates of the Caribbean, Alita. What is a better way to represent them other than owning their movies, but to have them represented in your shelf in a lifelike form, giving you back those memories that you had watching those movies. And the second one is creativity. In my, at least, everyday life, I am not in the artistic side of my job. My job doesn't require any creativity whatsoever. But in here, I always find that I do have a creative side that I always wanted to just explore and share to, the masses. And what better way to do that but with all these action figures that I have? I can combine both my passion for movies and also nostalgic purposes and recreate them in this mini lifelike actors that I have in the palm of my hands. And look at this, I could create poses, a specific scene perhaps in a movie that I always loved, and have them in this form. Take out my camera, start shooting it. I can even spice things up if I wanted to, put those little elements here and there. So the creative side is all over the place when you have the Hot Toys. They have a lot of accessories that you could also use, different head sculpts that it's your imagination is just endless when it comes to these medium. And not only that, sometimes I still dwell into buying more diorama pieces for my collection, not only so they would look good on the shelf, but also to mimic or recreate specific scenes in a movie. They're more expensive, of course, but that just broadens your creative side. Some of us even customize this figure so that you could have a mini representation of that movie or scene in your collection. And I can't even blame those guys. And most people would not understand the lengths. Sometimes, just the simple task of rearranging your display. Are they too crowded? Is this figure matching with this figure? Is Superman, does he look good with Batman? That's one part of the element of collecting which keeps us busy. Is quarter scale? Should I mix up statue with my figures? That's another element. But now, with all these high-end figures, now with rooted hair, it takes it to a different level. Now we're going to buy a second body. Are we going to dress him up like this? Is the jacket too big? Is the trousers too baggy? The possibilities are endless of customizing this figure, showing your creative side. Rick Grimes for Walking Dead. Now, Innard's gonna make one, but he and Walter White is one of the most, I would say, customized figures out there. People are spending thousands of dollars just to have a good representation, just to show their creative side as well. And some people, I know people that would paint their own figures. And the last one is escape. Coinciding with, the nostalgia and creative side. This is an escape from reality. Not all of us has our dream job or dream homes or even just dream circumstances in life. But once you have this, no, there's no right or wrong way of collecting when it comes to you. It's your vision. It's how you display these figures. You are reminded when that you are a kid once, and now you used to play with figures like this, and now it's kind of frowned upon if you're an adult to still have figures like this. So now that you have a real job with real money, you can upgrade to a more lifelike figure like this Captain America in front of you. So the possibilities are endless, and also not only that, you could escape from reality. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Look at this. Look at the difference here. Maybe you just want to sit down and admire the hard work that you have, the collection, how you display them. Or maybe you just want to, tinker around. There's different avenues where you could escape. Like playing an instrument is one of them. I also do this. There's other hobbies that you can dive into. Working with your hands, with cars and all that stuff. I even have different hobbies like that are more expensive one, but the ones that I dive in the most are video games and 1/6 scale. I just feel like they feed into what my core is. We all spend countless hours, maybe just moving figures around or finding the right display case. In this case, I was never happy. I want to try them all. Heck, I want to try a 3D display case right here that features effects and sounds. And now here we got the Apex case that is really expensive, but you still want to showcase these figures. This is like a badge of honor for us. And that is basically it. Those are my reasons why I spend time, money, and effort in this hobby. And it's a very fun hobby to have. I wouldn't have it any other way. Like I said, you could be at your job, but it brings, I would say, at least for me, the inner kid in me. I wasn't able to acquire every figure when I was younger. I wasn't fortunate enough to have that kind of resources when I was younger. But now as an adult, I can kind of go back and relive those moments. And what I had back then, as limited as they are the most fun days of my life. I can remember going to the store, still remember the smell of the store, watching that movie, opening that G.I. Joe box. There's nothing better for me at that time of my life. So you can, at least now, I can't go back to those places, but I could kind of replicate that opening this new box, which is the high-end collectibles. Now, every hobby has a downside. Everything that you do, as long as you're doing it the right way, you're taking care of yourself, your family, your finances around you, because let's be honest, this could be really expensive, but you don't need to buy every figures. You just need to buy what you could have. But like I said earlier, this is a very fun and fulfilling hobby to have, at least for me. Now I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Why do you collect Hot Toys? What is it? What is it that makes you come back, spend countless hours online looking for, display case for a deal? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.